So with Spider-Man arriving in the Marvel MCU and Spider-Man getting another reboot, I still can't get over that we're getting another reboot. Seriously, if anyone hasn't done it yet, there seriously needs to be a fan trailer of the Clone Saga. Just make it cool. You've got like 3 actors now. You can have Tom Holland, I think that's the actor's name, to play the main Spider-Man. You can have Andrew Garfield play Kane. He had the brooding enough, so you can do Kane. And you can have Tobey Maguire play Ben Reilly. There you go. You got the 3 main characters for the Clone Saga, and you could have Willem Dafoe as Norman. Oh, I need to stop. Anyway, so more or less, this is just a list of things I really want to see in the next Spider-Man film. First and foremost, look, I know Spider-Man's funny. That's supposed to be his shtick, is that he's meant to be a funny guy. He's meant to be a hilarious type character. He's just meant to crack jokes and all that. And that's been kind of a thing we saw in the 2 Amazing Spider-Man films. But here's the thing, there's more to that, and here's the thing with another thing that Amazing Spider-Man I feel like failed on, was that they tried to go too brooding. And don't get me wrong, Peter Parker's life ain't exactly sunshine and rainbows. But the problem is that they were trying to go too dark. But he does have light in his life. There's plenty of light in his life. And yeah, the jokes are meant to make his enemies kind of flustered, as well as those jokes keep his mind off of things when he's fighting them. Because really, when he started out, he was just a kid running around in a bright suit, making jokes at people who could kill him. So he was trying to those jokes were to keep his mind off of, dying. And that's kind of the thing, is that also, I'll get to the villains in a second, because I've got a lot to say on the villains. But yeah, that's kind of the thing, is that, Peter Parker's humor has meaning. I feel like, and this is, as much as I love the Raimi trilogy, I look back at Spider-Man 3, still not great, Spider-Man 3, still not great, but you can find good things in Spider-Man 3. And that can be said for Amazing Spider-Man 2. But this applies to both films, is that they were trying to go, with the jokes, is that they felt forced, and they were, and that's what I feel like the writers were trying to do. And I still am kind of worried about that, because the writers of this film are best known for the for the movie Vacation, which, yeah, if you guys have heard, that is a crock of shit. Hoo boy. So maybe the writers will surprise us. I don't know. We've got a director who's best known for an independent film, so maybe he can turn things around, and who knows? I don't know. The writers could easily be, it's kind of like with the director of Ant-Man, where I was very worried that the guy who directed Bring It On was gonna flop, and to his credit and to the writer's credit, Ant-Man turned out pretty good. So maybe the writers of Vacation will have a hand in it. Who have a hand in it will have a better take on it. Maybe they'll do good. Who knows? I don't. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. So let's move on to the villains. The villains, yes, we know Spider-Man has an array of villains, and Kevin Feige did say that we are going to get a villain in this Spider-Man movie that has not been seen on the film. And there's a lot. There's Vulture, Scorpion, Kraven, Mysterio. You've got so many. You've got so many different villains in here. Hobgoblin. Technically, Hobgoblin has been seen. I don't count that thing we saw in Spider-Man 3 as Hobgoblin. So there's a good chance Hobgoblin might be in here. But here's the thing with the majority of Spider-Man's villains. With the exception of, Norman Osborn and everything else, I think... Here's the thing with the Spider-Man villains. Again, with the exception of Norman Osborn, and, the villains did eventually become this, but at the start, they were just a bunch of thugs and crooks wearing costumes who just wanted to have get-rich-quick schemes. They didn't do the whole, let's hunt down and kill Spider-Man once and for all, until, the Sinister Six stuff started. And they started doing these whole revenge schemes against Spider-Man, but really, in the beginning, they were just guys who were like, God damn it, Spider-Man, why are you getting in my way? I just want to get some money. Why you gotta be a dick? That didn't... And a majority of the villains were still like that. They were just like, oh, god damn... I'm getting real tired of your shit, Spider-Man. That was kind of their whole thing, is that they were, for the majority of them, with the exception of, like, Green Goblin and Doc Ock, even Doc Ock was like, I don't give a fuck about you, Spider-Man. But really, they kind of evolved to that, but really, deep down, they were just kind of like, really, just get out of my way, leave me alone. So yeah, I kind of want the villains to be like that, and that's kind of the other thing, is that I don't want to see, you know, the villains kind of be like, oh, I want to kill Spider-Man, and I'm directly connected to him somehow. Let's not do that, right? Let's have a completely unrelated villain be, you know, kind of get caught up with against Spider-Man. Kind of like what they were trying to do with, again, with Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, and again with Sandman in Spider-Man 3, until, you know, Venom got there and whatever. So, here's my thing. Speaking of villains, who would I like to see in Spider-Man, in the new Spider-Man film that hasn't already been there? A lot of people have been saying Kraven. I think Kraven should be saved for later. Because Kraven, when you think about it, is like Spider-Man's equivalent to Bane. He's this big hunter, he's very powerful, he's incredibly strong and incredibly intelligent, and I feel like he should be saved for, you know, later. If you ask me who should be the Spider-Man villain for this new line of films, I'd say go Mysterio. I think Mysterio or Scorpion. Those would be my two. I would even, like, you know, it would be fun if you had Shocker in this film, too. Like, Shocker's just this guy who, you have in the beginning of the film, kind of like how, not Rhino, you know, when he was just Alexei, was in the beginning of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Have Shocker there, and Spider-Man is just there to stop him, and he gets webbed up, and that's it. Kind of like how they did, you know, Scarecrow in Dark Knight, when, you know, Jonathan Crane was just there, and it was just another night for Batman. So kind of do that, like, because now Spider-Man, Spider-Man exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so you can take liberties of have them wear flashy costumes and be a little ridiculous. So you can have the Shocker here at the start of this film, not make him like, he just shows up in one scene. He just shows up to fight Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man's just like, oh man, I'm late for Aunt May's birthday party. And that's the whole thing with Spider-Man, is that he had, you know, his great power and great responsibility. So you could have, like, again, they tried to do this, but it kind of fell in on itself in the beginning of Amazing Spider-Man 2 with, again, Alexei, the whole plutonium thing with Spider-Man. But do that like Peter just wants to get to, you know, Aunt May, or, you know, somewhere he has to be, and Shocker is just there to ruin his day, and then you kind of lead into the other villains. You also don't connect everything to Oscorp. A lot of these villains kind of happen not because of Oscorp. So, again, I think if you want to go like a bigger villain, for like a Shocker for the start, but if you want to go bigger villain, you can have Mysterio, who, you know, I'd really like to see the special effects they would put on Mysterio. That's my thing, is that I'd really like to see where you could go with Mysterio in this film. Scorpion would be a fun, like, beat-em-up villain. Like, I think there'd be some cool stuff there. You could even say, like, maybe it's like with Scorpion, you can have that, where was I going with this? You could have, like, maybe it's like cheap Stark tech, and it's just being built by someone, like, maybe you can even build up to the Jackal instead of the Goblin. Not say to do Clone Saga, mind you, but like have it that he's kind of like Spider-Man's Mr. Sinister in a way. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. So really, those are kind of is that I kind of want to see more, you know, Peter Parker going through teenage life, not like, hey, I'm Spider-Man, everything's cool. It's like, oh man, I mean, my life doesn't absolutely suck, but I've got a lot on my plate right now. And, you know, make the villain not like, oh, they don't see me anymore. I hate Spider-Man. There you go. That's kind of really all I want. So you guys tell me, what do you guys want out of the new line of Sony Spider-Man films? Who would you want as a villain? What do you want to see out of them? And yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.